Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz interview series with trombonist Richard of the UK-based jazz group, The Young Pilgrims. They have a brand new CD out called We're Young Pilgrims, and this addictive young brass band is brimming with jazz rock energy, and they are relishing their live dates coming in as the British scene opens up and reawakens. The band found themselves drawing fans across Europe and beyond their intense live performances, and now things are aptly ramping up with the huge fan base. Enjoy this story. Young Pilgrims, thank you. I really appreciate you taking a minute out.
No worries, man. Thanks for asking us, and I'm glad we're finally doing it.
Absolutely. So let's start off here first and foremost. I know what's going on here in America, but I'm not quite sure where you're at exactly in the UK. How's everything going with COVID and living life?
It's all right, actually. Gigs are happening again, which is cool. Like rehearsals and all that stuff. Venues are open. You can go out to the pub. If you get COVID, you've got to, isolate, obviously. But things are okay. Yeah, it's definitely as best as it's been, really.
So you have a new album, We're Young Pilgrims, and you have the chance now to promote it live and to do all kinds of things and just have new music out. What does it mean for you and the band to have a new album out now?
Oh, it's really exciting. Yeah, we've been really lucky. It's had some really nice reviews, which has been great. And we recorded the album quite a while ago, so we were sort of sitting on it for a bit. So it feels really nice to have it released. And the vinyls just arrived the other day, so I'll be putting out spreading the word about getting some vinyls. And we've got a new music video that we're looking forward to releasing along with that. So yeah, it's exciting times.
The thing that comes out immediately from you guys is that you're young, you got all these colors popping off your website and the albums, and you're vibrant, you got a good fan base. How did all of this start for you guys?
The band started in 2013. There's an organisation in Birmingham called Jazz Lines, and I was lucky enough to sort of commission me to start this band, well, for one concert, and then I really loved it, so I took it from there. So yeah, we've been doing it for quite a wee while now, and the lineup's changed a few times, but I was really lucky to have someone take that chance on me, and then this has been the result, and then just been doing our thing ever since.
What's the meaning behind the name of the band? How did that come about?
I was looking for a band name, and I'm a massive fan of a rock band called The Shins. They're sort of like an indie band that I was really into when I was a teenager, and I was just looking through their song titles, and they've got an album called Shoots to an Arrow, and it's a name of one of the songs off that album. So yeah, it was cool.
That's weird, because when I was doing research on you, the Shins were coming up, and I was like, what is this? Because I'm a fan of those guys too, and I was wondering what was going on, and now all of it makes sense.
Yeah, man, yeah. I love the Shins. They're brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing too that I want to go off of here. I'm a huge music fan. I mean, from, the Beatles and Bowie and all of those UK bands. What is it about where you're at that fosters such a level of creativity and fresh sound?
Very nice, yeah. I think I'm probably quite similar to you. I've got a very broad range of music that I like to listen to, and obviously there's a rich New Orleans tradition when it comes to brass bands. So I wanted to pay homage to that, with also, I'm just a guy from Glasgow. So I wanted to have my musical taste come out in the band as well. So on the album, there's a cover of a Elliott Smith track, and Elliott Smith's one of my favourite artists of all time. And so as much as I love jazz, I love a lot of music outside of jazz, and that's obviously a bit of an influence when I write. It's not necessarily something that I try and write. It's not like I sit down and think I want to try and write a rock song. I think it just comes out when I hear melodies or write bass lines or whatever.
Around this time in my 20s, I went to a town close to us, Lawrence, Kansas, and Elliott Smith was there for a show, and the place was jam-packed. I mean, it was because I think it was around the time the whole Oscars thing happened, and he came out in that white suit and was kind of uncomfortable. His star rose so quick, but man, it was beautiful. Elliott Smith, honestly, for me, he is one of my top 5 guys. I absolutely love everything that he put out. Figure 8 is an album that I can still listen to just without fail. It's the go-to.
I feel the same. I can't believe you've seen him live. I'm very jealous.
The weird thing about Elliott was that he was just so uncomfortable doing things like that. He was a live performer his whole life, but you could tell it wasn't his element. I think the studio was more the way he rolled.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, there's actually a brilliant. I think it's on YouTube. Actually, there's a brilliant interview with. It's called the John Byron Show, and obviously John Byron's a producer who worked on some of the Elliott Smith albums. But at Brad Meldau's in the audience, and he comes up and plays some tunes with Elliott. It's amazing, man.
I can see Elliott crossing over to that jazz mentality. He had such a beautiful way of constructing things. In fact, I used on my show one time that haunting piano line, so to speak, that he played at the end of Figure Eight. It was just called Bye.
Yeah, it's great. That Figure Eight is such a great album, man. Yeah,
it was beautiful, but it had that jazz vibe to it. So Brad hopping up and getting involved, I could totally see those two being peas in a pod together. So, as a band, what other jazz influences do you guys have that really influence you?
Oh, I think a lot of the band members, we have like a sort of equal input into how the music gets shaped and all that. And I think, everyone's got brings their own tastes to the group. But most of us studied jazz at an institution, and that makes it sound like a bad place. We all went to like music college, so like I guess like all the people that you would assume, all the greats, Charlie Parker, John Coltrane. I'm a trombone player, so I'm really influenced by like Jimmy Nepper and Frank Rosalino. I've been recently listening to a lot of Max Roach actually, and this album called It's Time, which is like with a choir.
Yeah.
That's kind of blown me away. I can't get enough of that at the moment. But I think between us, everyone's got their favourites and the people that they've checked out lows and transcribed. So yeah, it's definitely a big mixed match. A mismatch. I don't know what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of influences, basically. I think a lot of people, we all, between us, like basically all the music.
Yeah, I dig it. How does it work so well with you guys? You guys clearly have a great vibe together. How does it work so well with you as a band?
Well, I think we've been doing it for a while, and we're all friends. We've all been friends for years. I've known some of the guys in the band since I was 15 years old, so that obviously helped. So it's always really nice. And then we all live in different parts of the UK. We don't always get to see each other, which also adds an element of pleasantry when we get together, because we've also not played for a while, but we haven't socialised and caught up. So that's a really nice thing, to see your friends and to make music with them. And then it's a very democratic band. Everyone's got a voice, and everyone, feels comfortable enough to raise it, and everyone takes everyone's suggestions on board, especially when it comes to music and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it's generally it's quite a nice band to play in.
If you guys come to Kansas City, let's say you guys come here and you put on a show, and you have right now the moment to almost advertise or announce what your show would be like to get people to come see you. How would you explain a Young Pilgrims show to a potential crowd here?
Oh, I always struggle with that. I'm trying to think what our EPK says now, what our biography says. I don't have it to hand. I guess it's a cross mix between jazz and rock, lots of improvising, lots of jumping around, lots of high energy music, and a little bit of reflectiveness in there as well. Especially some of our new songs that haven't been recorded yet. We've got some. The sousaphone player Mike, he's wrote this beautiful song in which he sings that, so there's some singing involved, and yeah, I guess like an eclectic mix of rock, jazz, loads of jumping about, getting loose. Hopefully everyone will be dancing, having a nice time.
So speaking of that vibe, now that we're kind of waking up from COVID and things are opening up, what do you hope both, bands and the audience realize about the power of live music that we were away from for so long?
Oh, it's a really interesting question. I think that it connects people, and it has the power to give your life positivity, and to share an experience with others around you is a joyous thing that should be celebrated, basically. Aside from the fact that music is wonderful, and it's easy for me because I love music so much. But yeah, I think that sort of sense of togetherness, especially after being so far apart, that's the thing that I personally, when I go and watch concerts and perform them, that's what I take away the most. Which is it was pretty when the gigs first started coming back, it was quite emotional, really, to be standing on stage making music with people again after such a long time.
All of your fans have a perception of who you are as a band. They all have this idea of who you guys are. But if right now you can explain to me, who are the Young Pilgrims? Tell me who you guys are.
These are good questions. Who are they? We're a group of friends that like to make music together. We like to improvise and we like to have fun on stage, basically. Excuse to get together and jump around and make music. That's the best way to describe us, probably.
I love it, man. Richard, hey, man, it was great to get to know you. Thank you for taking some time out on behalf of the Young Pilgrims, and good luck, man. I hope we do see you in Kansas City at some point.
We would love to play in Kansas City, Joe, and thanks so much for having us on the show. It's a real honour to come and talk to you, so much appreciated.
Thanks for listening and tuning in to another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest players in the UK, Kansas City, and spots all over the world, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Richard for his cool and story. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino in the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.